He got to go.
Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys, today we're talking about Thad Young. And yes, I do believe that Thad Young has to go, and I mean ASAP. Okay, so when it comes to Thad Young, I know you guys seen these reports. I'm gonna give my thoughts on this in a minute, but as it stands, Suns strongly interested in Thad. That's been reported like earlier as well in the season, and also that the Spurs are interested in Jalen Smith, which has also been reported earlier in the season. So overall, how do I feel about this? Do I believe that this is going to happen? I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. I think that overall, we just need to make sure that we move Thad Young as soon as possible. Not to say that Thad Young is a bad player, because he's a very good player. Like, I really like Thad Young. I made many videos on Thad Young, but as it stands right now, it's one of those situations that we're seeing ourselves in a little too often, is that we have a player that don't necessarily want to be here, and that's coming from him not getting playing time and him believing that he has more market value than he's getting right now. And I understand that. It completely makes sense. And it makes sense also for the Spurs not to play him. And he's acknowledged that as well, that we're going more in a different direction. And as it stands, there's many of different trade rumors going around, many different articles kind of saying, hey, we could send, or they could send him to DC. Hey, the Spurs could send him to Boston. The Spurs can send him, like, it's a lot of them. Okay, I'm starting to see quite a few of them. And just what's my overall thoughts when it comes to this? I don't think there's anyone to blame in this situation. It's starting to seem, and I know that it just happens when we're the Spurs franchise. Doesn't happen all the time, but when you're having guys and you build a culture around homegrown talent, and they're the ones that kind of get the benefits of that, you're gonna every now and then have free agents that come in that say, hey, I don't want to be here. I'm not getting utilized how I believe I should. That happened with DeMarre Carroll, even happened with Steven Jackson, and it's happening with Thad Young. Now, the difference between now and then is that back then we had a Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, where free agents will come in and they'll just naturally just get with the times. Okay, they're not going to sit here and complain too much unless you're Steven Jackson, but overall everyone else would just kind of sit back and accept it. And that's not necessarily the case right now, and it doesn't happen all the time. Okay, it's still pretty rare, but we're starting to see it happen more often, or at least it's showing itself a little more often, because we don't have the talent. And when you're not winning a plethora of games, it makes it look even worse. Now, I think the Spurs have utilized that decently well throughout the season, but there has been big chunks where we haven't seen Thad at all. And there's a lot of people that's making jokes about it. A lot of people that are pretty upset about it. And I'm not mad at anybody on this situation. But when it comes to this, I really do believe that we got to move them. We got to move them quickly. Also, I wanted to point this out because this is actually part of what I was thinking before. I personally have said this before. I didn't think that Young would be here that long. I praised him because I knew how good of a talent he is, and he's still showing that he's a pretty good talent. But I wasn't expecting him to even stay with us, honestly. But here's a quote, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but this is actually from Thad Young, and this is when he got traded. And he basically throughout here said that he was very shocked that he was traded. He did not see it coming. He was blindsided by it, and you know, it is what it is. So you can pause the video and read it if you want. I'm sure you guys seen it already, so I didn't want to go over it again. But yeah, overall, he just didn't know. He didn't know that that's what was gonna occur with him. So overall, man, we got to get rid of Thad. Get whatever you can. I don't care what it is, honestly, because we don't need any player on the team that doesn't want to be here. It's just not going to help us whatsoever. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I'll get with you later. And if you want to support the channel, forgot about that, Patreon, YouTube members, link in the description. I'll get with you guys later. Till next time. Deuces.